Okay, today is a brew day, so I will be transferring these two fermenters into kegs. That'll be ready to go. I have my fittings and some PBW and some sanitizer, getting ready for that. And I also have in my hot liquor tank some boiling water here that I will use for rinse water. Okay, so I am doing the transfer. I've gotten my CO2, putting a little bit of head pressure on the vessel. Got my cam locks connected right down to my keg, spunding valve, and I'm just going to fill this keg. Again, closed transfer, putting CO2 on top. This was a purged keg, purging the CO2 back pressure out as it fills, kind of a counter pressure fill. And I'll get these two into these two kegs. I will clean, sanitize these two, and then I will start a brew and fill those back. This is a process video, not going to go into water chemistry or recipe building, but I've gone into all that, and for this water profile, this grain bill, this recipe, I'm going to be adding 3 grams of gypsum and 4 grams of calcium chloride and 3 grams of baking soda, calcium carbonate, so that we can get our mash pH exactly the way we want it. Okay, so putting in our gypsum and calcium chloride. I'll have to still add the baking soda. Okay, next step, we are going to calibrate our pH meter so that we can get proper reading on our sparge water, or our H hot liquor tank water, proper pH. So you always got to calibrate. You need your 7.0 fluid, your 4.0 fluid, and some deionized water. And we'll do this, and we'll check the pH of the hot liquor tank after the salt addition, and then we will add some lactic acid to get it to about 5.2. And then once that's done, I will bump that up from 77 up to 168 of our sparge temperature. Tell me to use the 4, so quick dip, and then into the 4.0, and then that should calibrate it. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is we're going to take a pH reading of our hot liquor tank. I have this set at 77 degrees 25 C, which is how you want to, the temperature you want to take for your pH. At this temperature, we want it at 5.4 to 5.8, and as you can see, we are at 9.10, and we're going to add some lactic acid and get this down to 5.4. You can see here that we have added our lactic acid. Our sparge water hot liquor tank is at 5.48, which is right where we need it to be. Might climb a little bit, 5.49, but it's settling down, and we are between 5.4 and 5.8. We're good to go. All right, now we're going to measure out grains. We're at 61% Golden Promise, 15% Crystal 40, 7.5% Crystal 120, 7.5% Honey Malt, 7.5%, what's the last one we got here? 7.5% Munich Honey, and 120, and a little bit of pale chocolate. And we'll get that going next. This is from previous batch. It all goes in. It's 13. Almost there. 14 pounds. And we're there, 14 pounds. And I will go ahead, I'm not going to video all of it, but I'm going to add all the other grains, get it up to the grain bill, and then we will put it in the milling machine. Alright, I've got my grain bill all mixed in here, all the different grains. And now we're going to mill it. I usually split it into 2 buckets. So I'll put about half in here. Maybe a little more than that. And we will start mulching away. Alright, so while we're getting that mashed up over there, we're going to program the kettle. So I know in this recipe I've already done in, well, let's go back and check. Let's go to my recipe, select. Yeah, we're going to be 158 for an hour, and then 168 for 10 minutes. So that's good to go. So brew start, recipe 1, yes. And now it's going to start pumping and ventilating and getting ready. Alright, we can see the pumps are on, it's circulating, and it's going to bring it up strike temperature, and it's going to let us know when we're there. We're at 139, we need to be at 158, so as soon as it raises up to 158, it'll give us an indicator, and we will put in the malt pipe and start doughing in. How are we doing over here? Just about done on the second bucket, and we are. So you can see I've got a nice crush. There's a lot of flour there, but with this machine, the Braumeister, you don't have to worry about a fine crush, because I'm not lautering traditionally that you would in a 3-vessel system. So it's pretty good crush. Alright, so we can see we're achieved, our temperature is hit, so we're going to fill in the malt. And dough in. Grab our malt pipe. Goes in. Screen. Now we're going to dough in. This will stay pretty loose until it gets just about full, and it'll start to thicken up. I think we're mixed in pretty good. So what we're going to do now, top screen, top plate, and this is tightening this the silicone gasket on the bottom of this. This is smashing it to the bottom to make a seal. And now, everything filled in, yes. Malt filled in, yes. And it's going to start. Here it comes. All right. We're mashing. So this will just pump up gently through that grain bed, cascade over the edge, maintain temperature. So what I'm going to do is put the lid on this, and then I'm going to take a pH reading after it settles a little bit and see if we hit our target. I'm just checking my mash pH here, and as you can see, we are at 5.33. So our prediction of our brewing salts were correct, and we are between 5.2 and 5.6. We are right where we need to be to maximize enzymatic reaction of our alpha amylase and beta amylase. So temperature is perfect, pH is perfect. We should have a good mash. And that'll get clearer and clearer as it runs. Okay, we are about 18 minutes into the mash. Looking good. Nice color for a Scottish ale. Really nice. All right, and I am going to take a specific gravity reading here. Let's get a few drops on here. And we are at, if you can see this or not, we're about 11 bricks, which is pretty good so far. 11 bricks. I don't know if you can see this or not. Alright, so also while this is mashing, what I'm going to do here with my hot liquor tank, my sparge water, is now I'm going to take this up to our mash out temperature of 170. Mash out's like 168, but when you pump it, you know, you lose a couple of degrees just in motion. Whoops, too far, spin it fast, too far. 170. Now the element is on, and it's going to bring this up to 170. So my CIP cleaning, I got a bucket with PBW and pumping up, and there's a rotary spinning ball through that lid. I'll show you when I bring it out, but it's just spinning, and some hot water, and it's just cleaning out. So I'll let that spin in there for about 20 minutes, let it spin in there for about 20 minutes, rinse it, and then fill another bucket up with sanitizer. Let that spin for about 3 to 5 minutes each, and then these will be ready to receive beer. Quick check. Looking really good, clearer and clearer. Looking fantastic. Okay, we are 57 minutes in. We're going to take another gravity reading. Look at that color. Look how clear that is. $12 bricks. And it'll come up another point as we finish this off, hopefully. But the color is beautiful. It's gorgeous. I'm done cleaning that one. I just want to show you what this looks like in here after a fermentation. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's from the krausen. Gets pretty dirty in there. And then I'll show you what these look like after I run my cleaner. So this is the lid I put on there, and this is a spinning ball, so it pumps that PBW cleaner through there. That's how that works. So after, you can see the difference. Don't worry about this up here. That's just from the sealing and the rubber. That doesn't contact. If you look down inside, all the stainless is clean. All the rings are gone. It's gorgeous clean in there. And then I'll run sanitizer through it, and it'll be ready to go. This is the stainless steel coil. I modified this to run cold water through there for my temperature control, so I can hold the temperature of the ferment consistent. Okay, so when I rinse, I got a connector on the end of this hose, so I'll just connect here. Turn on the water. Now I'm going to give a little rinse. I'll just dump this bucket in the sink. So I'll give that a little rinse. And then I'll have another pump with sanitizer. End of mashing, so now we're going to sparge. So I'm going to get my lid out of the way. Stop it. Remove malt pipe. Alright, we're not going to boil yet. So we're done mashing. I'm going to lift this basket out. Bring our water volume back up with a good sparge. And this can be very heavy, so this is where my crane comes into play. Do that slowly. On, turn my pump on. This should start filling up. You can hear my pumps running for the temperature control. These two are demanding cold water right now, so those pumps will shut off in a minute. So you can see this is going to gently fill up with some water. Open it up a little bit more. All right. Now, let's take this up a little bit so I can see inside. Ah, the ring fell off on the bottom. Well, I'll have to scoop that out. But I can see where my marks are, where I need to be. So we're going to let this pump and drain until we're where we need to be. Let's kick it back a little bit. Alright, I think we're good. And that's the idea. You can't see the marks on the post, but I'm going to get back up to where we need to be. And then we're going to start boiling. So this is it. We are sparging. So I'm done. And I'm pulling this off. I'll let that hang and drain a little bit. But yeah, we're done. We are back up to level. Yeah, that came off. That's no big deal. And looks good. Start boil. Yes. We have reached boil and we are at the hot break with the foaming of the proteins. And generally I like to wait until we're through the hot break before I start to count down the boil. All of this foam and these proteins will coagulate and fall to the bottom of the kettle. You can see it's foaming up and getting a really good hot break right now. Really good hot break. So this will settle down, and once it settles down, I will start the timer. All right, you can see our hot break has settled down dramatically. I'm going to give this just another minute or two, and then we're going to start our boil clock. 1.8 ounces of East Kent Golden. Alright, let this boil for an hour. Right now we're getting close to the end, so what I'm going to do is turning on my pump, and I'm recirculating. I got this tank up to almost boiling, doesn't have to be too boiling. And then I'm recirculating the water from here through my chiller system to sterilize or sanitize the system. Is out of the kettle into the pump, out of the pump into the counterflow chiller, out of the counterflow chiller into this device here, a Whirlpool, and it's just kind of spinning around and getting warm, and we'll be chilling fairly soon. We are done boiling, We have finished. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer, turn it off. This has a little bit of water in it. Oh, there it goes. Get that out of there. Probably put it about right about there. What I am going to do is take this off. Put it right here. Alright, now we're going to chill. So I'm going to switch the supply from the hot liquor tank to my HLT, or to my boil kettle. On. And I'm going to turn this pump on. I'm just going to push the water out. Not that fast. Just so this turns to wort. So I know I pushed all that water out. Alright, there's some good wort coming out there. Now we're going to turn, that was allowing water to drain out. Close that off. Now I'm going to start the water here. Alright, got my water running in and out of the chiller. Now we're going to start circulating this. Let's see where we're at in here. Let's get down right about there. So we got a whirlpool recirculating through the chiller. And what we're going to see now is this temperature down here drop. And it drops pretty quick. So we were at 210 boiling, 199. So, you know, in just a very short order, I'll bring this down to maybe about 85 degrees. Then I'm going to let it just sit for about 20 minutes. And then we'll knock out to the fermenters. We're at 93 degrees. That's good enough. I'm going to kill the pump. I'm going to kill the water back there, and that valve back there. I'm going to take this out. Okay, so we're back. We're chilled down. We're about to knock out to our fermenter. Coming out through the chiller, coming out, come right up into the bottom of the fermenter, and we'll hook it to that one and fill the other one. We're going to turn this on, everything's on, and then and there, we're pumping. Okay. Now we're going to inline oxygenate. It's very good for the yeast in their high growth phase. Put this on, put it on half. Okay, so we're moving wort. You can see the oxygen going in. So there you have it. $60 degrees coming up. We don't want to get higher than 65. There we go. About 65 degrees. That's what we want right there. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. All right, we're filled up. Shut it off. Shut it off. No. I'm recording. Alright, now we're running the other kettle. Here it goes. The other fermenter. So that's it. We're knocked out. What's left. Got some good beer in here. I'm going to get the temperature probes in, get a temperature. I'm going to drop in my Bluetooth hydrometer capsules that will send a signal to my phone to keep track of the specific gravity. Just changed my inlet to the remainder of the hot liquor tank and then switch these two. So now I'm back flushing my counterflow chiller with the remainder of that hot water that's in there. So just back flushing that out. Okay, so one last thing. These are the tilt hydrometers. They're clean and sanitized. I will drop them into each one right before I pitch the yeast, and they will send a signal to my phone that I can watch the specific gravity. Okay, so I've got my tilts in here, and it looks like I hit, if you can see that, 1052 right there. So that's exactly what I wanted to hit, was about 1052, 1054. That is another Scotch ale right there. It's almost done, attenuating down to 1014, which is just where I want it. 1006 finishing out for a German Pilsner. 108 finishing out, or 1008 for a American Standard Lager, and we are at 1052 starting out for original gravity for this beer. So looks like we had a good successful brew day. We're all locked in, collection balls are on, temperature probes are in, blow off tubes are connected. So that is truly finished, and I will check in with another video soon. Have a good night.